Coming up on the Below Deck Med After Show.
I haven't seen anybody.
Know anything?
Well, since you're doing it.
Sometimes you fall short, so you just apologize and move on.
We felt like there's a little lack of attention for us.
I was fuming inside.
I know it's not ideal, and it's for Katie because she ran it so well, and obviously they're working so hard.
Things are failing. I can't have this.
Need some help in the interior?
Is that a possibility?
Let's try this new person, see how it goes.
An extra set of hands is an extra set of hands.
It definitely caused some like anxiety and like worry just because it was like another kind of new personality so late in the season.
Your Below Deck Med After Show starts right now.
As the charter guests depart, they share some constructive criticism about their experience.
I've never heard that before.
We felt like there's a little lack of attention for us. I actually had to make my own drink this morning. There were just those moments where it felt like I couldn't find anybody.
Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you.
I was fuming inside. Like, I don't even know what my facial reaction is, but I remember just like inside was like burning. Like it was so, I was so angry.
What do you mean that he had no one to mix him a drink? This morning when I came up, they were all up.
I haven't seen anybody.
These guests are paying for high service. Of course, you want to deliver high service, and sometimes you fall short, so you just apologize and move on.
Obviously, that's a tough comment to get right as they're departing because that is our job, is guest attention and customer service. We were all trying, we're putting in effort, and these guys were so much fun, but from an interior standpoint, they were so demanding because they drank all the time, and you know that's tough. That's really tough for the girls to like, you know, catch up on.
Yeah, I do remember there was like a bit of disappointment in terms of like on the service front, but I don't think there was anybody to blame for that.
To get a comment like that from a charter guest, a repeat charter guest, like it's like embarrassing for me. Like it's so embarrassing because I feel like I work my ass off. Like I sacrifice myself and my breaks for my interior team.
Katie, do you take breaks? Like, why are we only see you?
I've got to look after my girls. And just like get that in return, it's just pure disrespect. You know, like, and it was all because of one person.
Yeah, well, they blame Katie. The table wasn't set when they sat down for breakfast, and Katie got up.
Can we get some plates?
Oh, are they not on the table?
Negative.
And that's the morning girl's job, to set the table. I don't know what happened. It could have been an accident, but still, it didn't make the team look good. And we're like on the fourth charter at this point.
No, you know what? That's when you should be morning girl.
You feel like you're doing your job, even though you know that you've worked, like you've literally, me and Katie did everything that we possibly could and like tried our hardest the whole time and gave it like 110%.
I just hate when you feel like you failed at your job.
I know, and
That's exactly how I feel today.
Honestly, I completely get it. But we knew what situations they were talking about. You know, obviously the breakfast, like I would be pissed off if I was a guest.
They're not used to us being up this early?
I guess.
Know anything?
If something happens in the interior, then the guests and stuff don't really know whose fault it is. And it's not like I would want them to know that it was Lexi's fault, but we all kind of get the blame for it from the guests and the captain. So
Don't be mad at me, but I made my own drink.
That's fine.
Sorry, I couldn't find you.
Her attitude wasn't as good as it was, and like she's just lost her dad, and it's like I don't want to be a bitch. I know she's struggling, she's trying to deal with that, but at the same time, if you're going to tell me you can get over it and still do your job, then yes, I'm going to expect that from anybody.
Katie was like super stressed, and like it's just really annoying because if the Chiefs do stress, then that kind of like stresses her out for the rest of the day, the rest of the trip. And yeah, it's kind of like a domino effect, you know, when one thing starts going wrong, like you kind of have to focus on things that you shouldn't have to focus on, and then everything else goes wrong usually. So
There's no such thing as a perfect charter. Something's always going to go wrong. There's always going to be something that's out of place.
Yeah.
I know it's not ideal, and it's for Katie because she ran it so well, and obviously they're working so hard. There's always something, so it just so happened to be that, and it's a shame because it was a knock-on. It had a knock-on effect because it was like, well, you know, got to buck up now.
In a way, you could almost say that every single charter would rotate in terms of who had the up.
We had our first complaint, so we want to bring that energy back up.
Whatever the guest says goes. You know, the guests are always right, and that's their experience, so you have to, you know, get better. That's it. they didn't have the best experience that they should have had. So you have to work on giving the next charter guest the better experience.
That was just like the giving moment. And I think I spoke to Captain Sandy after that, and I was like, look, this isn't working. Things are failing. I can't have this. Let's try this new person, see how it goes, and then we'll just talk about it afterwards.
Things need to be done properly, and now that we do have an extra hand, there is no excuse.
Okay.
When you're down, you just have to acknowledge that you're down and then work on getting back to what you're used to.
After receiving the lack of attention comment from the departing guests, we see Katie decide to bring on the new deck stew to help the interior.
The more stews, the better.
That charter was like the charter I realized. I was like, this problem is getting bigger and bigger. And obviously it all stems from that crew night out.
Hey, let's shut up. Look at
I'm not in Lexi's business or Katie's business. The only time I learn is when Katie talks to me.
How's it?
She's making my job really hard.
So Katie, when she comes and describes it, I hear her description. So the deck stew text is like, awesome. I guess this is how, it's great. I have a backup.
Need some help in the interior?
Is that a possibility?
Like, I got this girl in quarantine. We have an extra bed.
At that moment, honestly, I was hesitant, even though, I sound like a hypocrite because I was complaining the whole time about not having as many stews as I would like.
When it comes to decision making for a department head, I always include them and let them decide. That's when you're in a leadership role. You have to have responsibility and accountability.
I think it was just daunting at the time because I'm like, there's already this dynamic on board. You bring somebody else. Bringing one person in can change the whole dynamic. Because, look, one person already changed the whole dynamics. When Captain Sandy said it, I was kind of like, I can't think about this right now. I think we're still on charter.
Can I think about it?
Absolutely.
I mean, let me run it past the girls to get their thoughts on it.
Sure.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm not offended at all.
Okay,
She's nice. That'll be extra hands.
The more stews, the better. It's good to have the boys have 4. The deck hands it's 4 in total, and the stews are only 3. So more stews, the better.
The thing that was frustrating me about the thing of the whole new stew thing was if it was an extra person coming on just because Lexi isn't performing.
For stew. I'm not going down to 4th. You're no. It's just a lot.
The thought of us having to add a crew member onto the already crew that's worked their ass off for the whole season, just because one person isn't performing, that's what was frustrating me when I first found this out. It definitely caused some anxiety and worry just because it was another kind of new personality so late in the season.
I thought it was a great thing. An extra set of hands is an extra set of hands. We already had deck crew doing some laundry and dishes and helping in the galley. So an extra set of hands for the interior meant I can have all the guys out on deck all the time and hopefully as a team all around bring up our service level,
I think it's easier to make a decision if you look at how many deckhands we had. We had 4 and we only had 3 girls. It only makes sense to level out the playing field.
I felt like I didn't want to be trapped again because right now I was feeling trapped. I did not know which way I could go with the Lexi situation. And I didn't want to feel trapped with somebody else because of it.
If you're in charge of your department, you're responsible for your department.
My gut's telling me no, but she's here. I can use the help. I don't want another complaint like I had last charter.
I'm still going to hold the person in charge accountable. I always think about how they will be affected, and I allow them to decide what they want to do. I have consideration for those people before I shove something on their plate. I'm not that type of person.
The way I made peace with myself or going forward with this decision was to say to Captain Sandy, this is a trial.
4 days to have a shot.
Okay.
If there's anything,
then whatever you need.
We will get this person on for a trial, and then I get to make the call whether I think this is good for the boat or not. So yeah.
During this charter, the guests transition from intense beer Olympics during the day to an epic Oktoberfest party at night.
This is the start of Beer Olympics.
These charter guests were lovely. I absolutely loved having them on board. Beer Olympics that we put on for them was good fun to organise.
You're so close.
I really enjoyed like the whole setup of it, and then I enjoyed like seeing the guests come up in all their outfits and like us getting dressed up.
It was me, Lloyd, and Courtney upstairs. Like we got very, very involved.
Z and David in those outfits was hilarious. The girls looked adorable.
Damn, girl.
I remember Lloyd going up as a giant beer.
The daughter was dressed as a bear as well, and I've never been stared at with such dagger eyes because I was wearing the same outfit as her.
She didn't really like it that he was a beer too. The second beer wasn't invited.
Everyone was like, oh, because they were kind of like trying to outdo each other on the bear costumes.
And then I couldn't dance anywhere near as well, so she felt much better, I think.
Oh, Chad.
Chad was the most mischievous blow-up man I've ever met. Being with the guests obviously the whole day and like them all drinking and doing the beer comps and all that stuff. It was a really fun day.
We're doing downs, but obviously with non-alcoholic beer. So at the end of it, I mean, basically like halfway through it was like, this is fun, but we just getting bloated while you guys are getting drunk. So it was very, very interactive. I would say probably one of the most interactive charters that we had just because of all the games that we were playing with them, and I don't know, just how nice it was to like interact in that sort of sense.
And I mean, if I was a guest and we had that kind of day, then I would have been really happy. So I think they were happy. They seemed it.
Thank you. You're the best.
I remember when we were doing that Oktoberfest party and Lexi was down in cabins and I sent Courtney down. I was like, go swap out with Lexi. Bring her up here. You know, let's have fun.
Do you want to go swap out with Lex for a bit just so she's up here and she can get amongst?
It's always so important to me when we do theme nights, like even like now on my boat, that everybody gets involved. Like obviously someone still has to do laundry, someone still has to do cabins, but we'll rotate out. There's no stress in that. Don't worry about it. Like she was so uninterested.
Go upstairs to the sun deck.
What's up?
We're gonna swap out because it's fun.
Just stay in cabins tonight. Oh, I think I probably was just tired and just wanted to go to bed.
I was kind of surprised, but kind of not. Like, again, I feel like she was just kind of over it by this point and we didn't want to come up and be a part of the fun because she was pissed off that she was kind of on that shift.
How are you feeling after everything that's happened?
I'm feeling better. I'm just like taking my time.
It's like, well, if you're going to have that attitude, like, what do you want? Like, you're creating this hole for yourself.